It's time to write. Hi everyone, welcome to another writing vlog where I try to finish my book that I've been trying to finish for like the last 4 months, because every single time I try to write a book, it's my goal to then try to finish that book. I've been working on my contemporary fantasy novel, Sunless Ground, for, over a year now. It is almost the end of the year. It's December 30th, so we've got, we got one more day. I wanted to push and kind of see how much I can get done before the end of the year. It would be nice if I could kind of finish up like the next chapter today, so that means I need to get into a real groove. I'm at a point in the book where what I'm writing has not been that tightly plotted out, which to some people would seem like a bad thing, but to me is such a relief. I have been stuck in the same part of my book where I knew exactly what was going to happen for like 6 months. So I'm so relieved that I can finally do some more just exploration of the plot by myself, because, I don't know exactly what's going to happen. My book has 2 narrators. If you don't know anything about it, I will link some videos explaining the plot. But right now, one of our narrators, Harrison, is having kind of a tense conversation, almost an argument, with his best friend Foster, who's like, "Why are you being so mean to everybody?" Harrison's like, "I can't deal with anyone's shit, including yours." It's interesting because usually Foster's right about everything, and it's not that he's not right here. It's just that I think he realizes later that he's expecting too much of his friend, that he doesn't do the same for other people, and so he kind of realizes that he's being unfair. So it's quite interesting, because usually that's just not how Foster and Harrison's relationship is. Usually Foster is kind of the one who's always right. So I have had a slow morning. It is a Monday. Last night I stayed up listening to Kristen Cashore's Graceling. I love those books. One of my favorite books of all time that I highly recommend if you're a literary lover who sucks at reading fantasy. Bitter Blue is the 3rd book in that series, and I love that book so much. I have read that book, I don't know, at least 10 times. It's one of my comfort reads ever since I was a teenager, and then Graceling I reread for the first time via audiobook while I was making my dad a Christmas present, and now I'm actually following along in my copy while the audiobook plays. So last night that's what I was doing, and I was just so inspired, because these are just some like cozy reads that really remind me of how much I love writing, because it's what I was reading at the time that I really fell in love with writing. So I'm feeling very inspired this morning to get in some good drafting. It would be nice if I could write like 5,000 words today, but I have no idea if that's a plausible goal, but we'll see. It's been like over a week since I last wrote anything, so I'm a little rusty. I'm just gonna spend the first, 10 minutes of my session rereading my work. I've been really enjoying rereading my work with like a very posh English accent. Not that I'm particularly good at it, but I find it really entertaining, and it kind of boosts my confidence a little. In general, reading my work out loud is helpful, but I think reading it in not my own voice that I always hear is even more helpful. Maybe because I keep listening to the Graceling audiobooks. They're both narrated by, I think, Xanthi Elbrook, I think is her name. I like her voice, so I kind of mimic that and the intonation, and it makes my writing feel better. So I have just started writing chapter 24. I actually made a huge amount of progress in it on like the one day that I was drafting it, but I'm just going to reread the few pages that I've written from it, like I said, in this very posh accent. I'm going to continue drafting. I'm really at like a high tension scene. Like I said, it's going to be a lot of dialogue, so I have a feeling this chapter is going to go by quickly, but I don't want to jinx it. So while I'm reading, I'm doing one of my guilty pleasure things. That is, while I'm editing, going in and like tweaking words, swapping out adjectives for stronger ones. It's one of the most satisfying parts of the process for me. I really enjoy doing it, just specifying the prose on like a very like self-indulgent level. It feels relaxing, unlike other forms of editing. I love line editing where it's just like, let me just change that word. So right now we're gonna kind of try to figure out a different word for drawing, a little insight into my process. So Harrison, the chapter starts with him waking up next to his situationship. They're not official yet, so let's just say situationship Callahan. He's sort of like touching Cal. I have the verb as drawing, but I don't like that so much, so I'm gonna find something that's equivalent, like an arc up Callahan's cheek. I just have to find a different word for drawing. One of my absolute favorite dictionaries is Wordbook. It's an app. I think you can get it on Windows. I'm not sure if they have it on Mac now, but it just has such creative synonyms. But then also One Look's Reverse Dictionary, These two are like a match made in heaven. Okay, so it's been like an hour and I've been having such a good time just combing through this story. Like I said, it's very self-indulgent, this process. I'm gonna take a quick break to watch a short film that is kind of inspiring me in this scene. I already watched it this year, but I really enjoyed it. So I'm going to watch it again. Like I said, it's quite like a nice domestic bliss kind of scene, which is good for Harrison because he has had the worst time of his life in literally every single chapter. So he has this one moment of peace, and then Lonan, his ex-boyfriend, is about to completely destroy it. So I just want to like make this moment of peace as wonderful as possible for him, which is what I've been doing with, you know, adding a sentence here, switching out a word here, like really making it more calm, more sensual, more domestic. I love it. Okay. Hello. So it is almost 11 o'clock on like a Thursday. I don't even know what day it is. It's the second day of the year and I have no idea. Yeah, it's a Thursday. I'm wearing this hat that my best friend crocheted for me. It's so cute. I just wanted to take a look at my book for literally 20 minutes and I'm gonna go to bed because I need to get up early because I'm talking to my friend tomorrow and I need to get my life together. So the plan is just to reread a little bit of my work. Today has been like a bit of a day. I was out like all day. I kind of hitched a ride with my parents to go to this record store because they needed to go to a store that was near it. And after that, my brother is moving, so we were helping him move some things or whatever. So I was out all day, and then I came back home to do some freelance editing, which, you know, if you want to hire me. My holiday rates are probably going to go till the end of January, so, you know, get on them while you can. But that said, I haven't had that much time, obviously, to myself today. I wanted to read some of my book. I have been at this point where Harrison, who is my main character, and I'm just gonna turn off this light because this lighting is hideous. Harrison, who's my main character, is fighting with everybody, like rightfully so. He's really annoyed at everyone in his life. And him and his best friend, Foster, are kind of in a bit of an argument. I just need to finish up their argument. It was kind of stilting a bit because sometimes this happens where I brainstorm a scene in advance. I'm a pantser, and then I'll have like certain things written, and then when I go to actually write it, it kind of doesn't feel right, and it can be a lot harder then to sort of revise it because I don't know. I don't really love working from outlines like that. Actually, a big chunk of the conversation that they have was really good. Some of my best dialogue in this book, I think. And then the latter half was kind of bad. So anyway, I just have to fix that up. And then really it's just the end of this chapter, which is going to have like a major reveal. And then I'm going to write Reeve's chapter. I'm so excited for Reeve's chapter because I was figuring out her psychology yesterday. I was talking to my sister. She's kind of an expert on my characters. So if I don't know what's like happening with them, I'll just be like, Sarah, like, what do you think? And she kind of helped me understand what I wanted to do with Reeve just a touch more because, you know, she's getting married, but she's also hiding things from her fiance because she has trauma. I just had to figure out how I was going to deal with sort of them coming together and like kind of working that out a little bit. And I think I got it. So I have this conversation that just needs to happen. But it is almost 11 p.m. I need to go to bed early because I need to go to IKEA tomorrow. I forgot to mention, I'm back again on my bullshit of reading my writing in the received pronunciation accent. Modern received pronunciation, I should say. Because I'm like obsessed with it, okay? I watch too much Outlander where like obviously Katrina, she uses this received pronunciation accent when she plays Claire. And so I'm always like thinking about her voice. Like sometimes when my sister and I read, like I'll be like, that is such like, I can read that in Claire's voice. You know, here's an excerpt of that. I'm so sorry to my British followers, especially if you speak in the received pronunciation accent. So this is like the beginning of the scene with Foster and Harrison, and Foster goes to go take care of Harrison's hand because he punched Lonan in the face, and no context. Lonan, if you don't know, is his ex-boyfriend, and they get into a bit of a fight. So hands are thrown, and Harrison punches Lonan in the face. But like Lonan is like in his bird state, and he's a bird. I don't know how to explain. So he has feathers on his face. When he's like emotional, when he gets upset, the feathers get sharp. And this is sort of lore that has to do with the bird that he's half part of. Anyways, so When Harrison punches him in the face, he like shears open his hand like an idiot. Anyways, so Foster, whose name I cannot say in the RP accent, I struggle so much. I've been practicing and I struggle so much with his name. Foster comes because he's like, you know, I'm a healer. He comes to help Harrison, and this is the beginning of the conversation. Bear with me, okay? I'm trying. This is 1 year of watching Outlander, okay? Okay, Rachel does the RP accent for YouTube. Take 1. It's a disappointment, to say the least, when the first person to find him is not Callahan, but Foster. He approaches Harrison's room with a small leather kit in hand. His cable-knit sweater rolled to his elbows like he's already been at work. Harrison says nothing as he watches him from the bed, twirling the angel's chain, still caked in blood, around his pinky. Foster closes the door behind him and sets his kit on the nightstand. I need to look at your hand. I can't. Harrison clenches his bloody fist, frowning, which doesn't help his case. It's fine. That was a Canadian accent. It's fine. It's not. Foster? Foster? I can't say his name, okay? Give it to me. Harrison scoots over on the bed so Foster can sit, the sheets still unmade, though he doesn't even seem to notice when he takes his wrist. He lifts Harrison's hand to his face. I need to say it with like, not Harrison. He lifts Harrison's hand to his face, analysing the wound, the skin slashed and bruised. You could have lost a finger. What do we think? How was it? Was it good? That is literally what has been bringing me so much joy the last few days, is quite literally reading my work with this accent. I also do a Scottish accent and sometimes can do an Irish accent, but really mostly it's this RP that I do. Anyways, so I am going to read a little bit more of my book. Not the accent coming in and out. And then I'm going to go to bed and I'm going to listen to Xanthi Elbrook read Gracelyn to me because her accent is very similar to this one. Hello, it's almost midnight. I have a new lamp over there, so my videos are gonna look a lot less ugly. I'm so tired and I have the world's worst headache right now. I am... Shut up, Alexa. No one else is suffering more than me right now. I just watched Outlander. Before Outlander was writing my book, which has been going... I don't want to say anything because I feel like I'm going to jinx it. You take with that what you will. I wrote like the first 2 pages of a new chapter, which I came up with a ton of notes for. Actually, 3 pages. That is crazy. When was the last time I wrote that much in like 20 minutes? That's crazy. So I'm writing a lot of dialogue between Reeve, who is one of my main characters, and why didn't I get this lamp sooner? Look how much better the lighting looks on my face. I don't look like a gremlin anymore. Conversation between Reeve and her fiance, Darren, which is giving like Bridgerton vibes. It's giving like, you know the scenes that I'm talking about. It's giving bane of my existence. It's giving I love you. I haven't even watched that part of Bridgerton. All I watched is the first episode of Bridgerton while I was getting over my COVID vaccine, which sort of knocked me out on the weekend, actually. I'm on my 7th COVID vaccine because getting vaccinated is great. But the side effects kind of made me like really like out of it for an entire day. And honestly, the headache, I think, carried into today. I have been having a bit of a slow day. I was focusing on other things, and then right before Outlander I started drafting, and of course interrupted by Outlander, and now it's 11:40. My dad wanted to watch Yellowstone, so I was like, okay, fine. What I'm saying is, you would never have seen me last week, maybe the week before, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, sitting down at 11:44 to actually write when my head is hurting and I'm tired. I would have got my ass to bed, which I think is still, you should still do that. I'm just shocked because I have not been in this state of mind where I'm actually that excited to write, where I will write with a headache while I'm tired and no glasses. Like, what? So it's almost 1 a.m. and I finished my scene. 2,200 words. I'm so tired for the whole day. Insanity. To be fair, a lot of it was from a note that I wrote, like most of the dialogue. But I'm so happy. It's time to sleep. Hello. So it's the next day, a little bit past 10:30 in the morning. I have some work to do today for a client. If you want to work with me and you're looking for an editor, All that info is linked in the description, but I thought I would just start the day, get my brain working a little bit by writing. I am in a very unique situation with my book that I haven't been in a long time, which is where I have no idea what's supposed to happen next. I'm a pantser, so it's pretty typical for me to not know what's going to happen in my book. However, when I get toward the end of a book is when really like the entire plot crystallizes and I'm like, okay, this is what needs to end up happening because I've had the scene idea. It has to happen in this book, so I have a direction. However, I've kind of run out of direction for a little bit, which is actually kind of freeing and incredible because I have been sort of really tightly plotted in my book since June, May. Like, it's been a long time, and sometimes I really crave that freedom like that pantsing sometimes gives me, because now I can just write something. I don't even know what to write, but like I can write something, and I think it'll be pretty fun. Last night I finished up a scene, like I said, of my main character Reeve having a conversation with her fiance. It was actually really emotional. It turned out really good. They have to come together in this moment to kind of understand each other's faults in the relationship. Mostly Darren is worried about Reeve being like too vulnerable to hear certain things, or he doesn't want to hurt her by bringing up certain issues he might have, and so he is very forgiving. He lets a lot go. I think I said in the book, and when my sister read this, she was like, that is so accurate to him. I said that Darren is very democratic, and it's really true as a character. Keeps peace in all corners when he doesn't necessarily have to, or he shouldn't, because it's not necessarily good or healthy to just accept everything that comes to you. And Reeve's issue is that she doesn't want to accept his like unconditional love for her. She's like, but there's got to be a catch here, you know? Like, I can't possibly be deserving of something. So what she does is she prioritizes her own fears of being undeserving of love onto him, and then basically controls how he views her, which is not fair to him because, he has his own agency. That man really does love her. So they are sort of finally working through that in this scene. It's kind of been their main conflict, like the entire book, pretty much their entire relationship. And it will continue to be, like, I think in a different way though. Reeve has a lot of trauma she's working through from her other relationships. So accurately speaking, she probably will have these moments and he'll have his, but I think this is probably the biggest moment. So now they can sort of figure out how to deal with that together moving forward. So I don't know what to write right now, which is kind of exciting. I have a few options. Reeve has also reunited with her sibling, Chris, who she hasn't seen in a while. So my instinct is she should go talk to Chris. This is the insight of a pantser, by the way. I have no plot idea except for, what comes in the future. I have like something that'll come in the next chapter, but Reeve's chapter is only 2,300 words right now. And all of these chapters in On This Ground average about 6,500 words or longer. So it just doesn't feel right to end the chapter here. So I think I'm going to shift into maybe Reeve discussing with Chris, sort of seeing how they're doing, because she hasn't seen them in a while. So, and she also went and kind of rescued them. So I think she's going to want to talk to them. That's my instinct, but we'll kind of see what happens. This is really exciting to not have literally any direction. I feel very free right now. Okay, so I just finished up some client work. I have done absolutely no writing. You know how I was like, oh, I love not knowing what's gonna happen in my book. Lies. I don't love it. I hate it. I can't think of anything. Well, I just don't, I don't feel like a pull right now, which I refuse to feel that way for longer than like the next half an hour. Like, we're gonna have to make it work. But I just decided, I wasted too much time. I was procrastinating like crazy. I was only supposed to really work on my book for like maybe an hour this morning because I had some work to finish up. And then it was like 1:00 and I was like, So I just did some work, finished up some client work. But anyways, I really enjoyed working on that client piece. So I'm feeling like really pumped to write. Also kind of tired. I am going to go see Baby Girl in like less than 2 hours now. It's just about 3 p.m. Thank heavens that my local theater actually has it showing. I'm shocked. I can't wait to watch it. I'm gonna go with my sister, and obviously it's Tuesday, so like that ticket is gonna recoup. I'm gonna get some nachos. It's gonna be a good day, okay? But I would like to do a little bit of writing before I go. I might actually like just read some of Graceling before I go if I just really don't feel like writing. At least I will read. And that will make me feel better. I don't know. Maybe Baby Girl will inspire me. It is the next day. I have been having a weird day because I woke up really early for my standards. I woke up at 8 a.m. Okay, right? Okay. My standards. And I was really tired. Like I got a ton of sleep, but I think I need to like figure out how to like properly match up my sleep schedule with like my REM cycle, because like my body is just dumb and doesn't like produce the right amount of melatonin at the right time. Anyway, I have to figure it out because I just did not feel rested and I've been exhausted all day, which has made writing a little bit harder. However, it also helped me like, I don't know, feel braver, because I was like, I'm tired and I don't feel like working on Sunless Ground. So I was like, why don't I just pull out my short story collection? My short story collection isn't something that I've been working all that frequently on lately, just because like I just didn't feel like it. And I feel like you have to be in the right headspace to work on the short story collection. But my agent had asked to see a draft of it, I don't know, maybe a month and a half or 2 months ago. And my life kind of blew up in that time. So I didn't have enough time, sadly, to send it to her. So I just wanted to work on it now and hoping to send her the draft that I have. But in the middle of that, I ended up getting an idea from the chapter that I actually have to revise of Sunless Ground today. I have written 2 short stories based off of Reeve's character, because some people ask me, are you ever going to publish anything in these characters' point of view? Because, you know, Sunless Ground, all the Fostered series, which I'll have a video linked on if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's just personal projects. Like the characters are just mine and I just have fun in their world. And usually the answer is like no, but there are some projects specifically in Reeve's head and now in Harrison's head that I'm hoping to publish. The only difference is when I'm writing with like personal characters that, you know, have been around for a long time, I have to change something about them. Their name has to change. So in Reeve's case, she doesn't have a name as a narrator, and that's kind of what I prefer. In Harrison's case, his name is changing slightly, and, you know, some of the details about them have to change. How I view it is the character, if it was the character, playing a version of themselves. So, you know, it's the person, but it's different. So I got an idea in the middle of it all to write a short story about a bunch of girlfriends. I had an excerpt in my end of year reading video for 2024 where there was a excerpt about Reeve being a girlfriend, and being a girlfriend, like girlfriendhood, the experience of being a girlfriend is really important, I think, to Reeve's psyche in Sunless Ground, and just in general as her character, and what that means for her and how that has affected her. And so I wrote a flash piece called like The Girls and I Cry Over Shampoo. The Girls and I Cry in the Shampoo Aisle or something, and it was similar. Like it was this throng of girlfriends, and that's sort of the concept of this short story. It actually reminded me that a lot of my short stories are about girlfriends, so I was like, this is kind of thematic. Anyways, so I am like on page 3 of a short story draft. I don't think it's going to be a very long story, but I've really been enjoying writing it. I have not written short stories in a while. Honestly, short story form has kind of terrified me since I stopped writing them as frequently about 2 years ago, because I'm like, I don't think I understand how to do this, which is crazy because I made an entire video on how to write a short story, like based off of my own original writing theory. So like clearly at one point I knew how to write a short story. You know, so that's sort of how it is. You feel like you don't know how to do it and you're fine. But I'm really enjoying it. Right now it's just called Girlfriend. All of my short stories that I've written in the last year and a half, 2 years have just been one-word titles. There's been Carousel, there's been Neighbor, Goldfish, and now Girlfriend. So this one will fit really nicely into the collection, whatever that sort of ends up being. Hello, it is the very next day. I have not been sleeping very well, so I slept in really late today. Because I was like, you know what, I went to bed a bit later than I wanted to.
Now connected to desktop Factorsome.
Okay. And I just really needed the extra boost. I'm still really tired. I need to figure out what the hell is happening with my REM cycle. Anyways, yesterday was a really productive day for writing. I actually wrote that entire short story. So now like my draft is ready to send to my agent. Like it's pretty much 50,000 words. It's like 60 words away from 50,000 words. So I'm feeling pretty good about it. I haven't read the entire thing, so I'm probably just gonna listen to it on like 2x speed right now. I start work on Monday, so I know that if I don't send it to her before Monday, I probably won't until like the summer, and I don't want to do that. So I want to get on top of it and send it to her while I can. Last night, I also read my book with my sister. So my sister is also a writer. I have a twin, and we started writing at the exact same time. And ever since we were little, we would read each other's writing. What we used to do when we used to share a room when we were younger was after we finished a chapter, or, you know, finished a writing session, we would read out loud to each other, which was really fun. And then we would go to bed. But since we've gotten older, like, I don't really want to read out loud to her like that. So we've been doing reading parties where I'll get my book on like Kindle on my iPad, and then she'll get it on her iPad or whatever. And it formats it like an ebook. It's super cool. And we'll just read each other's chapters, like while, you know, hanging out in her room upstairs and eating nice food and drinking tea and, you know, talking all about how much her chapters drive me nuts, but in a good way. And I really enjoyed her chapter. So last night we read our really giant chapters. Both of our chapters were 15,000 words long, which was really funny. And we finished pretty much at the exact same time. Her chapter was so insanely good that I'm feeling like really inspired to write too today. Again, I'm going to work on the short story collection first just because I want to get it sent off. It's just a draft, so it doesn't have to be perfect, and I'll let her know which stories I'm still kind of taking, you know, tweaks at. But after that, I am going to hopefully draft some Sunless Ground. It is literally 2 minutes to midday, 1 minute actually. So I got to get this party started because I did not start my day on time today. All right, it's editing Rachel. Just to do a quick outro of this vlog, I did indeed send my manuscript to my agent. I think it took until I think around like the next day to get everything compiled. She has received it. It's been a few weeks. I haven't heard back, but you know, I'll update you as I go. That book did end up getting a retitle, which you'll find out the title of in a new video. So we'll talk about it more soon, but that was really satisfying to get done. It is now February when I'm getting this vlog up, and I'm really proud of myself for all the groundwork I did in January. Like, yeah, I kind of carried myself to where I am now. Thank God I did all of that work. Let me know what you guys have been working on. How was your January? I know for everybody it probably lasted a lifetime, so I'd be very curious to hear how writing went for you. And otherwise, I will see you guys in another video. Bye.